Well, it's the finish.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
A bit surreal. I mean, what a finale. Yeah, I guess 78 days and however many hours and back in Paris, back where we started. Definitely the longest 2.5 months of my life. But yeah, back with these guys. Is it good to see Daddy?
You did it faster than you thought as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, the dream was to get around the world in 80 days, and to get back here in 78 days and change is an absolute dream come true. I mean, when I left here, I kind of felt like you know, a lot of people were excited about the idea. Is it possible? But it's a massive leap from what's been done before, and I felt you know, an absolute world of expectation. I guess the pressure was putting on myself and everyone else, wondering whether you could actually do this. And as the weeks and the months went by, I started to, you know, settle down and realize, you know, the pressure's off. This plan is workable. I can carry on 240 miles a day, and you know, I've just had the most incredible team. You know, 10 years ago I finished here doing an unsupported race around the world, and this time to go with a full support team. It's a completely different mindset, but I mean, I've taken myself beyond anything I've ever done physically and mentally, and I doubt I'll ever do anything like that again. But yeah, for the guys who have backed the ambition, a huge thank you. And I love the fact that this simple idea, you know, I was a 12-year-old kid who pedalled across Scotland, and 22 years later I'm taking on my ultimate dream in endurance cycling. So it's bizarre, it's exciting, and I love the fact the way this simple idea, can you pedal around the world in 80 days, seems to have captured the imagination of a global audience as well. Do you think Daddy should stop riding his bicycle now?
What was the most difficult thing for you during this week?
How does it feel to cross the finishing line, Mark?
It's incredible to be back here. I tell you what, it feels a lot more than 2.5 months since I pedalled away from here. And you know, I started 4 AM and I've been getting out of bed at 3:30 in the morning every morning since then. I've been 5 hours a night sleep. It's almost impossible to put into words what the journey's been like, but
What got you through the hardest bits? I'm putting off Daddy. I get a big hug.
you all right?
You little beauty. What got
Yeah.
you?
Trent, do you have any questions?
What does it feel like to actually just have your feet on the ground and
Yeah.
have your dreams and goals accomplished?
I mean, I've barely walked for 2.5 months. I've got out of bed at 3:30 in the morning. I've got on my bike at 4 AM. I've ridden till 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I've been living in this weird bubble where I literally eat 9,000 calories a day, try and ride my bike 240 miles a day, and repeat. And the big picture, the world is obviously way too scary. It freaks me out. So it's literally about riding to the next horizon. But at this point, getting back here, I've probably played over in my mind hundreds of thousands of times. I don't know why. I didn't imagine all you guys would be here. I just imagined riding back to my family and seeing the kids.
What are you going to do tonight?
The minister's here.
Yeah, just give me 2 seconds. Is that in hand?
It's right here.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Hello, sir. Congratulations. How are you? Very well. Come on forward.
We've got a letter here which we're going to sign confirming your arrival.
Wonderful.
Anna.
Oh, there we go.
So I knew that. Hello, my name's Anna. I'm from Beaumont.
How are you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming across.
Attention à la caméra. Faut sortir la caméra un peu.
Qu'est-ce que vous faites, Anna? Vous pouvez m'expliquer là? Alors voilà, en ce moment, je suis en train d'homologuer son Garmin, son device Garmin, pour bien vérifier la distance et l'heure et laquelle il est arrivé. Et je peux confirmer. Alors.
How you doing, Grace?
In English or
Fancy seeing you here.
Just say loud.
Okay.
Whichever.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anna and I'm from Guinness World Records. And it is my absolute honour and pleasure to award this superhuman being not one but 2 world records, because not only has he achieved the world record, the fastest circumnavigation by man in 78 days, 40 14 hours and 14 minutes, totally annihilating the previous record. Sir, you are officially amazing. Congratulations. But for what you may not know, that actually it's 2 world records, because in his first month he also beat the record for the furthest distance cycled by a human in 1 month. So 2 for the price of 1. Mark, literally there are no words to describe your feat. I think you are amazing, and I wish you all the best for the future. Thank you. De rien, bonne chance pour le reste. Bonne chance.
Right, a little bit this way, please.
Okay.
What was the most difficult thing? So very bad roads, difficult weather conditions. What was it?
Yeah, I mean, like there was obviously moments in time where I wondered whether, you know, the race would carry on. You know, on day 9 I had a really serious crash in Russia, which you know, nearly ended the whole trip. I broke a tooth and badly damaged my elbow. I've had 2 more crashes on the way around, but maybe in 18,000 miles I should learn to ride a bike better. I think the thing which is probably hardest is not moments in time where you have crashes or incidents like that. It's just the sleep deprivation. You know, it's the after weeks and weeks and weeks. It's just the long hours you spend in your head. You know, really battling, and you just need to decide you're never going to stop. You know, you're never going to stop the wheels turning, and once you take that option off the table, it's simple. You just ride, and but you, I mean, I've done professional expeditions for 10 years now, but I've been to emotions and, you know, a mental depth that I've never experienced before. It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
What got you through the hardest moments?
Well, I mean, it's very different to 10 years ago. I mean, 10 years ago I was a graduate, it was just me, and I was just out on a grand adventure. This time I've got my beautiful wife and 2 kids back here, and you know, they were a constant source of strength. The other massive difference this time is I had a support team with me. So, I mean, rather than being out there on my own, I never felt alone. They were just a massive, you know, rock of support the entire way around. I mean, Laura Penhall, Mike Griffiths, and the rest of them just did an incredible, I mean, it's brutal for them as well, the schedule we were keeping. And then on top of that, you know, the global support in terms of the public. I mean, the amount of people who came out and rode alongside me or stood at the roadside with homemade signs, and I mean, all the way through, basically from Australia onwards, I was just blown away by the level of support. So I just felt like there was this, you know, this sort of real sort of tide of goodwill getting me around the world. So I mean, when I was really struggling, it wasn't because I felt alone. I felt like, okay, there's other people willing me on here.
So how does it feel to be back in Paris now?
This is going to take a while to sink in. I have not stopped. I've not given myself a break since the 2nd of July. So I mean, if people watching think about everything they've achieved in life since the 2nd of July, I've ridden my bike. I've ridden my bike from 4 in the morning till 9-10 o'clock at night. So it's going to take a couple of weeks for me to decompress and come back to normality. I've not walked for 2.5 months. I remember at the airport last week flying across North America, I walked up a flight of stairs and it hurt, it really hurt. So I'm going to have to get off a bike and get back to normal life. It's going to take a while. Just taking the dog for a walk, it's going to be strange.
What is the next project now?
Yeah, now that you've beaten the world record.
I mean, what's next for me is definitely, I mean, it's not just the last 78 days, it's the last year and a half. It's been a massive project to get off the ground, a huge commitment from Nikki, my wife, and my whole family. So before I even utter any of the other thoughts that are going through my head about next adventures, you know, my next commitment is to take some time out, spend some quality time with the kids, you know, thank them for all their incredible support, because it's quite a family project, this one. You know, my mum is you know, fully involved in the project as well. So I look forward to getting back. I'm going to spend a couple of days here in Paris, relax, maybe have a nice glass of red wine, and then get back to Scotland, spend time with friends and family. But it'll definitely be a while before I announce what the next crazy plan is.
Why is it important for you to break the world?
I mean, when I was very young, I started riding big distances and taking on adventures, and I've always loved it. I've always loved adventure, but more than that, I've always loved pushing myself. And I love the idea. If you think of anyone who's ever lived, and everyone who lives on planet Earth now, the idea of doing something first or fastest. I mean, I guess there's a kid inside me who never grew up, but yeah, it's exciting. I also love what it does to other people. I mean, you sort of have to see how excited people get about a simple journey like this, and how they take ideas and go on and take on their own biggest dreams. You know, for me, it's very simple. This is my biggest dream, and I feel very lucky that I've had a chance to do it. Yeah, of course. Yeah, just give me 2 seconds. So, everyone happy? Yeah. Have you been rolling all this time? Yeah, for everyone who's been following around the world throughout the journey, thank you very much. I'm off for a glass of red wine and I lie down some time with my family, but yeah, wonderful. The world in 80 days, we've done it.